Hi humans, and welcome back to the Unleash and Unveil community. Today we're going to talk about alignment in our business, how to know if we're misaligned. I'm going to give you some examples on how I moved through this being an entrepreneur for 4 years. This is absolutely the most valuable thing that you can do in your business. It's not hiring a mentor. It's not getting into another course. It's truly understanding what feels in alignment to your highest self and what doesn't. So let's get right in. We got a lot to talk about. First, let's chat about alignment. To me, the definition of alignment is when my inner world and my outer world sync up. They're hooked in, they're both saying yes to the same thing. And actually, a perfect example of this is, have you ever gone to a job and you have felt that that was the job that you had to take? And so you logically was like, oh, I think I have to do this, let me do it. But then once you got there, you were like, this is not it. Or maybe you felt like this in a relationship. You're like, yes, this is the logical person. I'm supposed to be with them. But then you're in it and you're like, something feels wrong. It's when your inner being is guiding you to telling you that it's not that you're going the wrong way, but they're trying to reroute you. And this is a perfect opportunity for me to remind you that we're human, right? So this is the dense part of us. This is the part of us that needs to see it, taste it, and touch it. It's the logical part of our brain. It's our body. It's how we move through time and space in this earthly realm. But we're also a being. And that being is connected to our highest self, our quantum self, right? That being is connected to our soul. And so when those two things, when the human being are both saying yes to the same thing, shabam, you have alignment. And that is by far the most important ingredient in your business. It's not hiring somebody. It's not perfecting your content. It's truly doing everything with all of your entire being, your cells, your love, your time, your energy. It's, to me, I feel when I'm doing things in alignment, I actually have way more energy than when I do things because I think I have to do it. I feel depleted. I feel like I don't want to do it. I feel like giving up. And so the goal always is to make sure that your business is in alignment. Let's go through a couple of things that can help you figure out whether your business is in alignment or not, and some of the things that I love to do. I like to look at every single thing that I'm doing in my business and I ask myself, does something need to change? I look at my individual offers and I ask myself, does this resonate with me? Like, does this feel like I'm excited to do it? If not, the first thing I do is I fill the offer, I take it out of my digital shell, and I just hang it up. I think oftentimes the most difficult part of entrepreneurship is feeling like once we have the secret sauce and the thing that's working, then we're always going to do that. But if you're an entrepreneur for a little bit, you'll start to understand that it actually doesn't really work like that. Actually, entrepreneurship is about innovation. It's about change because you're always changing, human. And so this is why alignment is the most important thing that you can do in your business. You're always changing. You're not the same person. And so you constantly have to reevaluate, does this feel good for me? I'm going to give you an example. Are your current clients in alignment? Do they light you up? Are you excited to talk to them? Have you outgrown your ideal client? And is it time for you to get back to the drawing board? Which, by the way, I wish somebody would have told me that my ideal client is always going to evolve and is always going to change. I didn't know that. I thought like, oh, I have my ideal client. Perfect. That's it. I just have to keep talking to my ideal client. But I actually started to realize that I got bored. That was not in alignment with my highest self. I'm continuously on the train of expansion, so I want to serve people who are also expanding at that rate. Another example of finding alignment in your business is through your pricing, right? If you're somebody who is closing sales on either Zoom or maybe on a sales page, maybe you don't talk to anybody, but you have the price, like, does the price feel in alignment to your work? I find that sometimes people are not in alignment with their business because they're undercharging because they're afraid. They're afraid somebody's not going to pay. Comment below and let me know if that's you, and I'll make another video for that as well, because there's so many things to talk about when it comes to that, because that ultimately has to do with us not seeing the value in what we're providing. Oftentimes when we're looking for price confidence, what we need actually is clarity. You need clarity in your ideal client, clarity in the transformation, clarity in why you're doing what you're doing, right? That's going to help you really energetically get behind that offer. So the pricing needs to match. The pricing needs to be honorary. It needs to honor your work and your time and your expertise and all of the things that you've invested in. And so let's take a moment right now and ask yourself, what needs to change in my business? And I can tell you really quickly that I personally had to go through this too. And when I first started my business, everybody told me, you're supposed to do, there we go, we're supposed to do one-on-one first, and then you'll do group coaching. And that just never felt in alignment. I was just like, oh, I just cringed every time somebody said that to me. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And so I had to go within myself. And even though I didn't have the evidence that what I desired to do was going to work, I did know that when I follow my heart, when I follow my alignment, rarely does anything ever go wrong. And so I decided to put my first group coaching out there. And that first course actually brought me my first 28K. And I'll never forget that moment, not because of the money, but because of the decision that I made to follow my own peace and my own alignment. And from that point on, I have done that time and time again. And it's something that I teach to my clients. A lot of times people come to me and they're like, here's the business plan. And I'm like, okay, tell me more about it. What part excites you? And they're like, I think I have to do this part. And this is the only way to scale. And that's not true. You see, when you're having fun and when you're excited about doing whatever it is that you're doing, you become an open channel. And so I always think about either being an open channel or a closed channel, meaning when you're a closed channel, where your energetic body closes, you're repelling abundance. You're repelling all of the goodness, right, that can come through. And when you're an open channel, you're open to receiving. You're opening up with your heart, right? You're not blocking anything from coming in. And so it's important that you start to recognize what are the parts and where am I closing off and where am I opening? And how can I, and this is where the mindset work really starts to matter. How can I start to make the change? If you have not started your business, perfect. Your foundation is going to be, I'm going to create everything in alignment. My sales process is going to be alignment. In the ways that I create content, that's going to be in alignment. I'm no longer going to have this limiting belief that I need to do reels even though I don't like to do reels, or that I need to have a podcast even though I don't want to do a podcast, or that I need to do X, Y, Z. You fill in the blank. That's what alignment is asking us to do. It's asking us to go within. You know, we're just such worker bees, and we're just the type of human being that we look at other people in the way that they're doing and we're like, okay, we're going to do it like them. But guaranteed, if you've done that, you will not get that result, because guaranteed that person that is doing it that way, that is getting that result, they like the way they're doing it. And that's why they get the result. It's not because they have some magical strategy. Alignment comes from within. And I want to take this opportunity to talk to you about self-care too, right? Self-care with yourself, and understanding that you can be bringing in mindfulness practices to your business in and out. So in your business, how does this look like? Well, whenever I talk to a student, I always like to take a moment and pause. And whether they apply to get into my program, I always repeat this mantra of showing up to myself and setting the intention that I'm going to show up as the space holder, and that I'm going to show up as somebody who is going to reflect back to them their greatness, that they do it themselves, that it's nothing that I say to convince them. It's not something that they feel that they're going to miss out, but that they truly take that moment, reflect, and allow themselves to expand into that, expand into what they can create. And so it's always my highest intention that people get in on their own accord, that they work with me because they feel that alignment, they feel that pull, they feel that inner beingness coming alive. And so that's one way that you can do it when you're working with clients. Another way you can do this with your content is just to like feel into your body and see how you feel as you start to create different pieces of content. See the different types of content that make you shrink. See the different type of content that takes you literally hours to do. And then analyze the other content where you're like, well, that was fast. I like filmed 5 things. That's because you were in alignment to that piece of content. Keep creating that. The same thing with your students, the same thing with your clients. You know, the worst thing to me is creating a business and feeling like I have to work with people I don't vibe with. I love my business because I literally love the people in it. And it's because I vibe check them and I energetically qualify them. This is something that I have coined inside of Unleash and Unveil the community. Energetically getting behind your price is important. in. If you don't believe in what the hell you're doing, you can't ask anybody else to believe in what you're doing. Creating alignment with your soulmate clients is important. If you're the type of person that you don't get along with type A personalities because maybe you're always a minute or two late to your calls, that's going to be a disruption in your business. Ultimately, what creates alignment is what creates peace. And so you got to ask yourself, instead of asking yourself, how am I going to sell this? How am I going to make $1 million? How am I going to become a billionaire? Ask yourself, what can I do every single day that if I were to wake up and never get paid for it, I would fucking do it. I would get up and I would be super excited to do it. What are the type of people that I want to work with? How do they look? How do they sound? What does their vibration feel like? How can I energetically qualify this person so that I know when I meet them, I'm like, yo, that's my person. That's the person that I love to work with. That self-motivated person, that ambitious person, the person that I share with them some of the things that would help them, and they go and they execute it and they come back with more ideas. How do you want to run your business? What needs to change? Have you been working certain hours where you feel like it's not enough and you need to add hours? Have you not been working enough and maybe you feel like you need to add on hours? Have you been working in the mornings but now you feel like you want to shift to working at night? All of this stuff I went through my own business. I used to wake up at 6 a.m. to work on my business and then go work being a TV producer. Then when I ended up getting fired being a TV producer, also comment below. Let me know if you want me to make a video on this. I will give you the whole entire tea on how that one experience like catapulted my business and literally slingshotted me to the exact position that I am now. So if you're moving through something right now where it feels hard, trust and believe you're in the right place. This is how we continue to tap into alignment. It's not by cognitively trying to figure out, am I in alignment or not? You gotta feel your way in. When you feel like everything you're doing is giving you joy and giving you peace, and of course there's work to do. Like, duh, we're filming this video. Like, there's things that you have to do, but the process of that has to be fun. Otherwise, it's not worth it. $1 trillion business at the end of the day is never worth your alignment. All right, humans, if you found this video valuable, consider either subscribing or liking or sharing it with a friend. Go with peace. Go with God.